Hello, 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 hello. My name is Claire. Welcome back to my channel, Cool Claire ASMR. So, for today's video, I have a little my reading list, book haul sort of video for you. But first, I'm going to light a candle. I have my calm lavender candle, and it's one of those that had a like ring in it, but I have long gotten the ring out. All right. Set that there. And then I also have my handmade Keith Haring lighter. I got it. That was a struggle. Calm lavender. Okay. Proudly display my achievement there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the books on my bedside table there. Now my fingers are all dirty from the candle. Just clean those off really quick. Anyway, so the first one I have is kind of a problematic pick. Call Me by Your Name. And this is actually my second time reading this book. I saw the movie first with Timothy Chalamet and Armie Hammer, and then got the book. And I read this probably in 2017 when the movie came out, or just thereafter in 2018. So I decided to read it again, and I say problematic because the age gaps between the two main characters, one is 17 and one is 24, and I'm 24 and I could imagine dating a 17-year-old, so I was closer to 17 when I read this the first time, so. But anyway, I still enjoy the novel because it is from Elio, the younger character's perspective, and just the way he like overthinks every interaction and obsesses, that is something I could heavily, and I still can relate to, in the way that I like focus on another individual when I like them. So I think that's why I like this book so much, because it reminds me of my own like crush overthinking brain. So you can see I'm making good progress. I just want to show you my bookmark. It's one of those ones that look like a little rug. I just think that's so cute. Anyway, set that over there. Also on my my nightstand, bedside table, I have Ellen Matthews' Mission Nurse. And if you watched my vacation souvenir haul video, then you would have seen this little book. And if you didn't, I'll get you up to speed on that one. So a little bookstore I went to was selling nurse-themed novels that donated to nurses at a local hospital where I was vacationing. and I decided to get one. And this one sounded the most interesting to me. Oh, just remembered I want to read the little blurb on the back for each one. So let me revert back to Call Me By Your Name for a second. Call Me By Your Name is the story of a sudden and powerful romance that blossoms between an adolescent boy and a summer guest at his parents' cliffside mansion on the Italian Riviera. Each is unprepared for the consequences of their attraction when, during the restless summer weeks, unrelenting currents of obsession, fascination, and desire intensify their passion and test the charged ground between them. Recklessly, the two verge toward the one thing both fear they may never truly find again: total intimacy. Anyway. In this one, there were many reasons for Ellen's decision to give up her position at Chicago's City Hospital and join Father Clouseau at his African mission, not the least of which was a chance to forget her recently broken engagement to Dr. Richard Creighton. The unspoiled beauty of the Maze Plains and the simplicity of its people allowed the young auburn-haired nurse to sort out her emotions. This was an opportunity to contribute to something of value to mankind, as well as a chance to find herself. But that was before she met rugged, self-assured Craig Adams. Suddenly, her emotions were once again in turmoil. Could she trust her strange new feelings? Could she be in love with a man she hardly knew? Okay. I have all romances up at the top, I realized. Because the next one on my reading list here is The Summer I Turned Pretty. And this just became a Amazon Prime TV show, and my mom and I binge watched the movie or the TV show in a day. And again, if you watch my souvenir haul, I also picked up this book on vacation. But I wanted to read the source material because the show was really, really super great. Okay, so here's a little blurb for you on this one. When each summer begins, Belly leaves her school life behind and escapes to Cousins Beach. The place she has spent every summer of her life. Not only does the beach house mean home away from home, but her favorite people are there: Susanna, her mother's best friend, and her sons Conrad and Jeremiah. Belly has been chasing Conrad for as long as she can remember, and more than anything, she hopes this summer will be different. Despite distractions from a new guy named Cam and lingering looks from Conrad's brother Jeremiah, Belly's heart belongs to Conrad. Will he offer his to her? Will this be the summer that changes everything? And this one has the nice beach themed with the shells. And little flowers. So I think I'm gonna read the Mission Nurse novel next after I finish rereading Call Me By Your Name, and then this one, and then if I enjoy it, I'm gonna get the other two in the series, which I anticipate enjoying it. And then right before I started Call Me By Your Name, I read this book, all about love by Bell Hooks. You can see really where my literary focus is right now. But this is nonfiction. It is categorized as a psychology book, and as the New Visions is the full title, all about love, New Visions. But as the title indicates, this book is all about love. But not just romantic love, it's about like family dynamics and societal culture in general and spirituality and all sorts of things. And it was really, really good read. And it took me, I don't know, like several months to read this, honestly, because each chapter is so packed full of so much like insight and food for thought that I just needed to sit with each chapter after reading it. So since this one isn't like a story, I'm just gonna read something out of the book instead of the back. So let's pick something. Naturally, when I left this long-term relationship, which had taken so much time and energy, I was terribly alone and lonely. I learned then that it is more fulfilling to live one's life within a circle of love, interacting with loved ones to whom we are committed. Lots of us learned this lesson the hard way by finding ourselves alone and without meaningful connection to friends. And it has been the experience of both living in fear of abandonment in romantic relationships and being abandoned that has shown us that the principles of love are always the same in any meaningful bond. To love well is the task in all meaningful relationships, not just romantic bonds. I know individuals who accept dishonesty in their primary relationships or who are themselves dishonest when they would never accept in friendships. Satisfying friendships in which we share mutual love provides a guide for behavior in other relationships, including romantic ones. They provide us all with a way to know community. So if you're more of a nonfiction person, I recommend this one for you. Okay. Next. I think everything's a romance novel. Next I have If Beale Street Could Talk by James Baldwin. I mean, this one is a love story, but it is also perspective on being Black in America. And I actually read this one for class, but I did enjoy it. And speaking of class, since I just graduated with my bachelor's degree, I am trying to incorporate more leisure reading into my day-to-day, hence the inspiration for this video. But since I haven't had that much time to read, some of these picks, like these are all recent reads, but like now I'm getting into ones that I read maybe like 3 years ago now, but like that's still the most recent like leisure reading that I've done. And I'm including this one even though it was for class because I did quite enjoy it. So we're getting into all ones that I've read or at least started to read, and there's some in here that I didn't finish, so let's read the back on this one. In this honest and stunning novel, James Baldwin has given America a moving story of love in the face of injustice. Told through the eyes of Tish, a 19-year-old girl in love with Fonny, a young sculptor who is the father of her child, Baldwin's story mixes the sweet and the sad. Tish and Fonny have pledged to get married, but Fonny is falsely accused of a terrible crime and in prison. Their families set out to clear his name as they face an uncertain future. The young lovers experience a kaleidoscope of emotions, affection, despair, and hope. In a love story that evokes the blues, where passion and sadness are inevitably intertwined, Baldwin has created two characters so alive and profoundly realized that they are unforgettably ingrained in the American psyche. But yeah, this book is quite heavy, as you can imagine from that little blurb, but it is very good. Alright, next I have another nonfiction here. I have the Princess Diaries by Carrie Fisher, and this is about her romance and just general this time in her life of filming this first Star Wars movie, but mainly about her romance with Harrison Ford, her secret romance. And yeah, I read this one quite a while too, but it was very interesting, and her narrative voice is quite humorous, as you could imagine from Carrie Fisher if you've seen her stand-up or just seen an interview with her. So I'll read the back of this one, but like the Bell Hooks book, I'm gonna read you a section from it. When Carrie Fisher discovers the journal she kept during the filming of the first Star Wars movie, she was astonished to see what they had preserved. Plaintive love poems, unbridled musings with youthful naivety and invulnerability that she barely recognized. With excerpts from her handwritten notebooks, The Princess Diaries is Fisher's intimate and revealing recollection of what happened on one of the most famous film sets of all time, and what developed behind the scenes. Laugh out loud hilarious and endlessly quotable, The Princess Diaries brims with the candor and introspection of a diary while offering shrewd insight into the type of stardom that few will ever experience. Okay. Pick a random page here. Harrison is a decent, albeit complicated and frequently silent guy. He's always been decent to me, and as far as I know, the only time he cheated on any of his 3 wives was with me. And maybe he didn't think that counted all that much because of how short I am. I feel like that's pretty representative of the entire book. This is another one I want to reread on my journey here. Okay, I have two more. Both of these are ones I started reading but never finished. First, I have Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. And I think I got about like 20 pages into this, so I definitely need to read this on my list here. But this is a classic and definitely one that people read in school a lot, but it is not one that I read in my schooling. And it's dystopian fiction. 60 years after its original publication, Ray Bradbury's internationally acclaimed novel Fahrenheit 451 stands as a classic of world literature set in a bleak, dystopian future. Today, its message has grown more relevant than ever before. Guy Montag is a fireman. His job is to destroy the most illegal of commodities, the printed book, along with the houses in which they are hidden. Montag never questions the destructions and ruin his actions produce, returning each day to his bland life and wife, Mildred, who spends all day with her television family. But when he meets an eccentric young neighbor, Clarice, who introduces him to a past where people didn't live in fear, and to a present where one sees the world through the ideas and books instead of the mindless chatter of television, Montag begins to question everything he has ever known. I can see how that could be poignant. But yeah, I remember I kind of got right to where he meets Clarice, like out on the street, and she's like running out on the street or something. or walking. It's about as far as I got though. But yeah, I definitely need to read this one. And last but not least, I have On the Road by Jack Kerouac. And I have had this book for so long now. I borrowed it from a friend. But to be fair, she has my copy of The Handmaid's Tale still, so we basically just traded books. But yeah, I got pretty close to finishing this one, but I have never completely finished it. Hence why I never gave it back. And this one is inspired by the author's own personal road trip and the like. Well, I'll just let the back tell you. Inspired by Jack Kerouac's adventures with Neil Cassidy, On the Road tells the story of two friends whose cross-country road trips are a quest for meaning and true experience. Written with a mixture of sad-eyed naivety and wild abandon, and imbued with Kerouac's love of America, his compassion for humanity, and his sense of language and jazz, On the Road is the quintessential American vision of freedom and hope. Some of the back is a little scratched off there. Hope, a book that changed American literature and changed anyone who ever picked it up. And that is everything on my reading list. So, like I said, most are rereads of some sort, but you know, I'd rather reread some things that I never finished or, you know, just read one time several years ago than get more books. So I am excited to continue to tackle it, and thank you for taking a look at it with me. So I hope you have a good night.